Ladies and gentlemen, what a fight that was in an organization which gets a very bad rap, and for a lot of good reasons. Tonight they delivered an exceptional fight. In my personal opinion, one of my most anticipated fights that you could make outside of the UFC. And, I think one of the best lightweight fights that you could make in the whole world, regardless UFC or not. Of course, that is Usman Nurmagomedov versus Paul Hughes. Now, Usman came in clearly with that last name as a massive favorite. Like I said, carrying that last name is just going to propel you on not only on the odds, but in the minds of the fans, because those guys from that part of the world, and especially with that last name, they just don't lose. Like, bar Merab Dvalishvili, that absolute machine doing what he did to Umar. Like, it's very rare we see these guys lose. It takes a special case like Merab. And Paul Hughes, someone who I've been slowly keeping my eye on for, the last few years now. Really enjoyed him in Cage Warriors, and when he was a double champ there, I was super keen to see him go to the UFC, to be honest, but they wanted to give him the 20 and 20, the bad rub, just pay him absolute pennies for his work. And, he chose to go to the PFL. He was given a bit of a tune-up fight, but then two real tough ones in AJ McKee and this one. And coming in an underdog against AJ McKee sort of shocked the world a bit there. Proved in AJ McKee, someone who is very, very good, one of the best fighters in that division outside the UFC. Proved how well-rounded he is, and showed that he actually is on a whole other level than we all thought. Now, I was seeing no love coming into this fight. Obviously, Usman is a special standout talent, undefeated, and clearly has great grappling, but the striking from him and his brother is what sets them apart even within that dynasty. Like, the sort of real flowy taekwondo, fast, snappy kicks they have off that lead leg, almost use it to measure as a jab. Like, they use that so effectively, just so good at continuing to stay busy, even on the judges' scorecards. Like, that volume, even if they're not necessarily doing as much damage as the fewer strikes that Paul Hughes are landing, like, it's just staying fresh and consistent and constant in the judges' eyes. So he does such a good job of that. But yeah, like I said, Paul Hughes was getting no love coming in here. And the guy is, yes, very well-rounded. We know he's good wherever the fight goes. And we saw that tonight. Like, the takedown defense was special. The inside boxing, very, very good with the hands and very threatening. Like, his presence in the octagon is, like, really, really has to be respected. Like, he walked Usman down all night. But beyond all of the skill sets, what makes someone like Paul Hughes so special? It's the self-belief. Like, that guy is dreaming himself a new reality. He believes things deeply within himself that even if no one else does, he's going to bring that into reality before everyone's eyes and say, yeah, I told you so. And it's almost reminiscent of that 2016 McGregor, like, not comparing their skills in the cage, but just that self-belief. It's emphatic. You can taste it, like, you can feel it. And in a sport which is so mental, that has to play a factor 100%. And it did tonight. Like, Usman clearly overlooked Paul Hughes, did not give him any respect, and was really, really lucky to scrape out tonight with a win. Like, it was a really close fight, and I think beyond how you scored it, each round, every minute of the fight was competitive. There was no moments where really either fighter was getting away with it. It was such a closely contested fight. And from an optics point of view, when Paul Hughes, or they both eat that headbutt and Paul Hughes is gashed, he's there smiling, tasting the blood. Like, Paul Hughes won so many fans tonight, I hope, because the guy, like I said, he is very, very well-rounded, as exciting and talented as a prospect can get in the sport outside the UFC. So For him to give Usman Nurmagomedov his toughest test to date, to really push him all the way to the wire and almost take the fight from him, as much as that's going to break Paul Hughes' heart to have gotten so close, that is going to build his confidence as a fighter. He knows he's right there, the very best fighters in the world in that weight class. So I think that's going to light a further fire under him. And I would hate to be who Paul Hughes fights next, because the guy is going to come back with a burning vengeance to prove that that is not all he has to show. How well did he do in the fight? Like the grappling transitions, I talk about that will again, like so much of this is mental. Yes, you need to know the ins and outs and how to get out of these positions technically. But it comes to a point where you just have to go and your will has to be stronger than your opponent. Paul Hughes never quit on himself tonight, not for a moment in any position. And you just saw the results. Like his body work, I think, really, really took a toll on Usman as the fight wore on. And yeah, he was doing some great work on that calf kick as well. So Paul Hughes, although he takes the loss tonight, I think he gains a lot of respect from the MMA community, from the world. And I think people need to start, putting him up there in the top 10, like lightweights in the whole world, top 5. I think he slots into the UFC's top 5 with ease, and I would love to see it. So funny, the UFC's business model, they are happy to let these guys, when they're sort of unproven commodities, go to a PFL, to a Bellator, to a ONE, to build their name outside, and then they'll bring them in. I would not be surprised if the UFC wants to pick up someone like Paul Hughes now, but clearly them and the PFL do not have a good business relationship. So the PFL could want to hang on to him for a while. Let me know what you guys thought about this contest, because like I spoke about, I think it was one of the most anticipated fights you could make outside of the whole UFC. So I'm sure everyone enjoyed just like me. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. If you could like, comment, and subscribe, it helps me out immensely and I greatly appreciate it. We'll chat soon. Thank you.